Hello, this is Gray Hughes again. I am making a video right now on the what I believe to be, the difference between, the time that we see occasionally in the upper left and the upper right. And I think, going through this video, we'll be able to tell that what Teresa was seeing above the freezer, she thought she saw the camera, wasn't actually a camera. I think that she, in her shock and anguish, she believes she remembers seeing a camera above the cooler, but as you'll see coming up, I don't think that's likely or really even possible. Okay, so for you who believe she saw that, you'll probably just turn off the video right now, and then you'll see that when I check the video watching, it'll be an average time of 1 minute. Okay, so the surveillance cameras in the Rosemont, they all have their own internal time, so those cameras aren't once you set them, I doubt they're ever changed again, because the hotel doesn't use that time. They use this time up here in the upper right, which is the system time, and that time adheres to the daylight savings time. Okay, and if you look right here, you can see that remember, spring forward, fall back, right? So on March 10th, this time right here would have said 23:37:18, but then the following day it went forward an hour, and now it's 12:37:18. Now this time, it's close. You see that? Now, some of these times are off by even more, but they weren't really concerned about setting the time on the camera itself, because they know that all the cameras are synced up to the system time. All right, so that just sort of explains some of the issues on the surveillance camera, but I think it also is related to what we see on the actual camera itself that the technician is using. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to watch the footage of the technician going around and then show you each of the photos that he took. A lot of them you can actually see what he's taking. There are a few that I just sort of have to, when he walks around the corner, I have to assume which, the timing of the shot, but I know he's taking the shot that you're going to see, but I just can't see him. Okay, but you can tell. Well, let me just show you how this is going to work. All right, so I'm going to first show you something I found that was pretty interesting. All right, so I remembered the time in my head when the tech came through that was actually taking the photographs, and I remember it was around 106. All right, now if you look right here, you'll actually be able to see the photos this guy was taking. Okay, so he starts outside. This is the associate entrance, and he pans down, takes a shot of the full door, then he starts heading through the door. Now he's standing just as he entered the door, and here's the freight elevator that Mike Mecca thinks that Kenneka may have came up. Here are the stairs, and here's one of the cameras that wasn't working. All right, now he takes a photo, and it's really dark. You can hardly see anything. Okay, now this shot here had a flash on it. See the brightness right there? Okay, and this one didn't have a flash again. Now we've got a shot where he should be inside the upper kitchen, because Kenneka walked by right here, and if you look over here, he should be standing off, just off screen right there. All right, so I'm going to hit play, and you'll probably look and see if you can see the flash. You see that flash right there? That's the shot that took this shot right there. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be doing when you're watching this. So I paused it at 106:48. Now, if you look over here, that same shot was 12:18. Okay, now that's a 48-minute difference. Okay, so the time on the camera itself wasn't, synced to actual time. Those guys probably don't really care what time they're taking the photos at. They just take crime photos, and and turn them in. You know, it's now if they were time sensitive photos, I'm sure they would care about the time that was on the camera, but it's a 48-minute difference. So this is probably also was set, if we go back to the, I guess, fall back, right? So after, let me get that date back up there again. Right, so that camera was probably set between November 4th and March 10th. Okay, because between March 11th and November 4th, the camera will be 1 hour ahead. So that camera was set, you know, it could have even been set years prior, right? And then over time, you start getting a drift. You know how people have to reset their watches and so forth every once in a while? Well, if you don't reset it like ever, you'll be off by minutes at some point. So I believe that that's about 48 minutes behind, and it's never been reset or anything. All right, so that's what we have right here. So if you look at, that's 12:18 and then 106:48, so it's 48 minutes apart. Now what was interesting about this is, as I was going down, I was looking at the photograph, the times, and there's a jump right here. Okay, 12:27 to 1:49, and just taking 1:49 and adding 48 minutes, you know, so it's about you know, 2:36-ish, 2:37. I was able to find the next time the guy actually came into the kitchen. Because what happened the first time he was in there, he took a lot of photos that were bad with poor lighting, and then he went back in. All right, so let's I'm going to tell you what I did. Okay, so I'm going to go through the timeline, and we're going to start at 106:43, and then every time there's a photo, I'll put the photo up here, maybe occasionally over here, or something like that. All right, so I'm going to just play it. All right, so there's the first photo when he comes in. All right. So what I wanted to do was I'll sync it up to the flash itself. So okay, there was the flash right there. Okay, you see the flash? All right, so I'll just slide that over right onto it. Okay. So right then he took that photograph. All right. And I'll just hit play. And you can see this guy walks around. And then I believe he stops again, but we can just watch. I mean, it was pretty interesting because I could just go to each photo and I could see exactly the photo that he was taking. All right, so now he's right there and he's taking a shot. All right. And here comes that image right there. See that? It's filming the freezer door and it's open. Or the cooler, actually. It's actually the cooler door there. All right, and you'll be able to see flashes sometimes there isn't, but you know, stop right there. Some of them I just have to kind of guess exactly when it was. I'm kind of basing that one on you know, where he stopped. Okay, now this is a shot he's taking, I believe. Yeah, right there, right next to the door again. And then I'm going to fast forward it a little bit. Okay, so he's still in that area. You know, a lot of times I try to sync it up to when it was actually flashing. You know, when there was a flash on the screen, then you'd know for sure that a photo was taken. Yeah, like right there. So you see that? Yeah, right there. There's a flash, right? And I think that's when he took the shot of the gauge, temperature gauge. All right. So these are all images that this guy is taking at 1:09. Okay, this is literally, you know, about 45 minutes after Kenneka's body was found by the assistant food and beverage manager. Okay, so keep that in mind. Alright, I think I need to go back. That image, I needed to make that one smaller. So hold on a second. I'm going to... Alright, there you go. So that's probably the image he was taking right there. You know, you can't see him, so it's not absolutely 100% that that was the one he took right at that moment. But it's, you know, most likely. Because they're all in order. And there was a flash back there. Okay, and there was a flash right there, and then there was this shot, and this is still outside. Okay. And then the guy, I'm going to fast forward it. He takes photos of Kenneka on the ground in there for quite a while. And then you'll see him, he actually, I'm just going to fast forward it through all this. And there he is right there. So now he's coming back out. That's the guy with the camera. All right, but I think what happened was that, well, you know, when he was walking around, he noticed that a lot of his images were dark, so he came back in a second time. All right. Now, if you notice, this guy right here comes back in, so he came in after the, you know, photographer was in there. And let's see. Alright, so he's actually pointing at the camera right there. And I think what they're saying is this is the camera that we realized, you know, where she was coming in to the upper kitchen. Alright, now, remember I was showing you earlier the 48-minute gap here, or not 48-minute, so it was 12:27 and then 1:49. So he came about another hour and 22 minutes later. He came back up to the upper kitchen, the same photographer. So if we add 47 minutes or 48 minutes to 1:49, we get about 2:36-ish, 2:37, and that's what we're going to do now. We're going to move to, so the guy comes in 2:36 right there, all right? And so he comes back in, and then I also was able to go through and look at all of the photos he took. So, but what he does first is he goes back in, because remember those images that were really dark? Some of those were the ones he took while he was back in there the first time with Kenneka. All right? And they weren't very good quality. So he actually went back there again, and I'm going to fast forward it to the part where he actually comes back out again. And that's right here. Okay, so you see that flash? That was that shot right there. Okay, and I know this because you can sequentially watch them in order here. So he took that shot, see that? And now he's going to take the one straight into that corner. And see, that's kind of interesting too, right? If we go back to that shot, you know, a lot of people weren't sure what was over there, but there's nothing over there. It's not like there's a hallway or anything. That's just the continuation of this wall that goes over there, all right? So right there, he's taking the shot straight across right there. And now he's taking another shot. Yeah. So he might have taken a shot. I think he backed up. Yeah, that's right. He backed up a little bit, and he took this shot right here. You can still see him. He just backed up, and he took this. Is taking this shot. Now he walks down behind there. Okay. And then he takes this shot. Right there. Okay. And he continues to walk. Some of these I'll have to guess about, but some of them are just obvious. So he took that shot at that angle. You see that? Then he goes in this corner. And now he's taking a shot this direction. See, there was actually a flash there. And then another shot. See, some of these ones right here I'm not going to know for sure because he's out of view right there. He's walking along a wall. So he's not even setting off the motion sensor. Okay, but now we're going to start seeing shots that he's going to be... so now he's over in that corner still, taking shots. And eventually he comes back around here, and then we'll pick up with the actual shots again. So here we go. So he's right here. He's kind of fixing the ones that he didn't get the first time around that weren't very good. So he took a shot of the office. Now he's taking a shot through there. Now through there, you'll see it right up in the... See that? It's exactly that shot right there. See the sink, the cup, right there. That dang cup again, man. It's everywhere. All right. So right through there, now he's going to have a different shot of the cooler. See that? He's right next to that wall right there. Then he goes through, takes that shot. All right. And you know, he's just really trying to figure out, you know, different shots he can take. So this one I couldn't see him, but that's the sequential order of it. So he took that shot, and you can kind of see what he's doing here in a second. So he took that shot, but kind of look over here. You know, that's when he was out of view, but you can see that he actually, right now he's sort of facing a little bit towards us. So he took the shot into that corner first. Now he's taking this shot back towards the door, which is exactly right. And that's another shot from basically the same position, right by that window that was through there. Now this is the next shot that he's taking at the wooden door. And okay, so that's one of the ones I haven't scaled yet. Let's put those in there, and there it is. See, that's the shot he just took right there. Out the wooden doors and the ice machine. Yeah. So there's that one. And the final one is this one. There's no flash, so I just kind of, you know, guessed at which one. Looks like he took two, but there wasn't a second one in there. All right. And then I believe the taller guy comes back in again. Yeah, right here. See him? So the tall guy is back in again after he filmed the second time. All right. Now let's take a look at this is sort of a newer file that I just found on the Rosemont site. Because what I did was I counted the number of files that I had before, and there were 7 more this last time I downloaded it. Okay, so this is a newer one. You know, I don't know when it was added or anything, but it's in there. So it sounds like one of the detectives met with Teresa and maybe even the lawyer and her daughter. Okay, and I think this is like Teresa and her daughter were adamant they observed a surveillance camera in the area of the freezer on the night Kenneka Jenkins' body was discovered. Their attorney requested we review evidence technician photos to determine if any surveillance camera was present. I retrieved the photographs, and we collectively viewed the photos on a laptop in their original digital format. Initially, you know, Teresa and her daughter stated the camera was in a corner to the upper left of the freezer door. Yeah, right there. So that's one of them. So if you look up there, there isn't anything in that position. Okay, there's no camera up and to the left right there. All right. If viewing the door from the exterior, so you're outside, so that's exactly what we were just looking at. There's no camera up there. Okay, so they zoomed in on the photograph of the area, and no camera was present. And then, you know, Teresa and her daughter then stated the camera was located in the corner on the wall opposite the cooler freezer. Okay, and they located a photograph showing this area, which also showed no camera was present. We continued reviewing evidence technician photographs and stated she found, and Teresa, I think, stated that she found the surveillance camera. However, the camera in the picture Teresa was referring to was the same surveillance camera in which we retrieved video surveillance. And if you guys remember, that's the camera that Teresa pointed at. And she stated herself, hey, you can see me pointing at the camera. And that's the only time. There's 2 times you can see her pointing at a camera. One's in the dishwasher room, and the other one is in that room right there. But she didn't actually point at the camera. She just looked at it while she was in the kitchen. Okay? In which we received video surveillance. We again informed Teresa that this was the only surveillance camera in the kitchen area. Teresa stated she saw another surveillance camera that was connected to a piece of conduit. We stated there may have been smoke detectors or fire alarms connected to conduit. We continued to look through all evidence technician photographs of the kitchen area and did not observe any additional surveillance cameras. I informed, and I don't know, I'm just guessing those are Teresa, but it kind of makes sense. Could be her daughter. I informed, maybe that's her lawyer, and Teresa, in addition to the evidence technician photographs, the FARO-scan digital recreation of the crime scene would also show if there were any additional surveillance cameras in the area. Okay, now I do have the FARO-scan right here. Okay, and if you look up here, I wonder if she thought maybe this was a surveillance camera, you know, or because she thought there was a camera up here, but there wasn't one. You know, it's possible she thought, like, maybe that was a camera. You know, I don't know. But, like, see, even Teresa and her daughter were sort of confused because they thought it was over here. Then they said maybe it was up here. And then Teresa kind of agreed that it was this one right here that she saw. Okay, but that's the one that, you know, we've all seen when Kenneka comes through those double doors right there and walks by right here. All right, and she walks back right through there. All right, so let me see if there's some more surveillance footage. Photographs we can look at that the tech took maybe earlier on. Let me see what some of these look like. Okay, so here's one he took earlier, and again, you can't really see any sort of a surveillance camera or anything. And this was taken, you know, at it was like 107 right there. So nothing in that one. That camera, that one's too dark. Not that one. Not that one. Okay. Yeah, so I don't see any other images to look at the part above on the left. Okay, but again, the FARO-scan really does a good job of showing that area right here. You know, there's nothing up there. Okay, and there's no sort of discoloration where something that was removed you would see. And look at right here. There's no surveillance camera right here either. These are all, that's a sprinkler. That's an electrical outlet, it looks like. Sprinkler, you know. Maybe this is what she was talking about, but that's obviously not a surveillance camera. But again, you know, I don't blame her for not getting that right. Okay, now you might not believe me. You'll say, nope, she was right. You're right, especially if you're, you know, one of the murder crowd, because you need to believe that. You want to believe it. Okay, so you'll say, oh, Gray, you're just, you know, making this stuff up, blah 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 blah. But I'm not. I'm actually putting out exactly what was said in the narratives. You just read it a minute ago. And Teresa wasn't even sure herself where the camera was. And you just saw a technician photo that showed at literally within an hour that there was no camera there. Okay, so that clears the 2 funeral home guys for sure, right? Now you can all believe me that they really did put the black gloves into the dirty ones into a bag, and then the unused new ones into the body bag, okay? They are completely innocent, and I'm glad that I haven't really seen many people talking about them anymore, all right? So I think this is pretty good evidence that there was not a surveillance camera above the cooler-freezer combination, all right? So if you have any questions, just write them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them. All right, so until next time, I will talk to you later.